It's a show that Arthur Penn was doing, and Geraldine Page and Tab Hunter, our friend Tab Hunter, were playing. He was playing a murderer, and Geraldine was playing a spinster, and the scenes were, and there was just one other person in it. It was a very small cast. Geraldine was brilliant, and really brought Tab along too, and it was terrific.
Title was Portrait of a Murderer?
Portrait of a Murderer, and it was based on a true story of a guy here in California who was convicted and charged with murder, and we had the tapes that this murderer made in jail about the whole thing, about the murder, and about, with his voice, in his voice. Well, we get right near to the end, and the gas company is right there about you can't have him killed in the gas chamber. There was no other way, and this wasn't like, all right, we'll hang him or we'll, there was no way. This was a famous case, not as famous as some, but people knew about it here, and we had done a lot to publicize it. And they simply would not come down from it. This is another case where, Arthur Penn was saying, well, maybe we just shouldn't do the last scene, just don't do it.
Arthur Penn was the director.
This time?
Was the director?
He was the director,
yes.
But that didn't resolve it. I mean, it wasn't, we couldn't do a thing where we'd simply say, well, we just won't do the last scene, so you never know whether he's executed or not.
Wasn't the gas company's concern that you did the gas chamber, you would do the gas chamber scene and then go to a gas company commercial?
Well, you would eventually have to go to the gas company commercial because that was their segment of the play. But they didn't want the gas thing even mentioned. They finally, I think,
How did you resolve it?
In Abby's case, we just kind of cried and screamed and carried on, and I went to CBS. I finally said, CBS, you always take the part of the sponsor, which they do. That's par for the course because that's their bread and butter. They can get another producer, they can get another director. The customers aren't that easy. And I said, you must stand by us in this. For one thing, we're right near almost to air, and secondly, it's ludicrous. I mean, we'll be a laughing stock all over town. You cannot do this. And it certainly isn't going to do the network any good. A lot of people start writing letters about this. So they finally got the gas company. Maybe they gave them a show for nothing.
You did not cut the scene.
No, we did that. But I think Abbie Mann was forced to say, he couldn't say gas chamber, he had to say death chamber, I think, death chamber, all the time. Well, the people involved in that show, as I said, it was not my show, were, say, every time they came to death chamber, it said everybody kind of this way. So what they did was crazy, I think. They wouldn't do it, and the network said, all right, we'll don't. And the network put somebody in the control, into the, not the control room, the sound room with the projectionist, and said, every time we come to death chamber, we bleep it. So they didn't put death chamber in. Every time we come to gas chamber, we bleep. Yeah. They didn't put death chamber in. They just, every time they came upon it, out. Something was missing. I mean, I don't know what people thought it was going to say.